Hey guys, this is Jay from ASMR for Nerds. This week I'm gonna do, or today, it's Friday, so that means 2 days ago on Wednesday, I was at the comic shop picking up my weekly books. Yesterday I did a video, an introduction video, where I kind of show my face and talk a little bit about myself, and hope it don't weird you out too much. Today I kept the books in bags so we could play with the bag noises. Other than that, I guess let's just go. Let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to show you is not an issue. It is a trade volume. This is Hawkeye volume 4 by Matt Fraction. Matt Fraction is kind of one of Marvel's superhero writers these days. Not superhero, but superstar. And this was the book that kind of raised him to that level. The Hawkeye run he did, he kind of took this obscure character and gave him like a very modern kind of cool look and feel. And actually this run ended and Jeff Lemire took over. I actually prefer Jeff Lemire's Hawkeye so far, but so a little interesting fact about Matt Fraction is he's actually married to another comic book writer, and her name is Kelly Sue DeConnick. She writes for Captain Marvel now, and she has a popular Image title called Bitch Planet, which is about a prison planet for women. I guess kind of similar, or in the vein of Orange is the New Black, although way more violent. This run just ended, so this is the last volume. They did something strange with this, where volume 3 was not all of the issues in sequential order. There's kind of two storylines at this point. One is Clint Barnes, who is the real Hawkeye, and then Kate Bishop is a different. She's like a girl Hawkeye, and she's on the West Coast and he's on the East Coast. So the last volume was her on the West Coast, and this volume is back on the East Coast with Clint. I have not read this yet. Also, if you can see, I have a lot of issues I buy. But if I do buy a trade and read it, which is what I did with this Hawkeye, I read it in a trade first. I'll continue buying the trades just to have them all. If I really love the series, I'll buy the issues. This one I did not love enough to buy all the issues, but I did like it enough to buy the first run, first print of number 1, and just a couple of key issues. One in particular, that's my favorite, is an issue. Basically, it's got no words, and it's just from the perspective of his dog, Pizza Dog. His dog likes pizza. I did read this issue, and it does look weird for a Hawkeye superhero book, but this is Clint watching a children's show and falling asleep on Christmas. So it's like a kind of a Charlie Brown Christmas thing. At this point, I did not read, but I do recognize this artwork here. This artwork is by Frank Villa. He's one of my favorite artists out now, and he is one of the cool guys. He is known for drawing Afterlife with Archie, which is a great series, especially if you like the horror genre. It kind of takes the Archie down and turns it into like just a really solid, good horror story. It was supposed to just be one issue, but that issue got so much traction and was so good they made it into a whole ongoing series. That Jughead is a zombie and comes back for Archie. And, so Francavilla has, he uses this color scheme a lot. This reddish orange and this blue. If you can see on his pages, he does have like a color theme that he follows, and that's part of what makes his artwork so good. So these days in Hawkeye, they're kind of exploring the fact that he had a not so great childhood. Him and his brother were foster children and were in a home for and it was an abusive place. And they escaped into a carnival, and at that carnival, they were basically used as like young, not slave workers, but not far off. And that is where Clint learned how to, learned his archery, and then eventually became an Avenger, and that's that. It's an interesting little cover. This was cover of number 15. It's like a crossword puzzle. Oh, we got the Russian guys in the tracksuits back. If you read comics, I'm going to assume you've read the first bunch because everyone kind of did. But if you haven't, I would definitely say it's worth reading. It's a bookmark from the one of the comic shops I go to, Forbidden Planet, down in Union Square in Manhattan. They give you free bags and boards, so that's nice. But anyway, so that's Hawkeye Volume 4. I am chewing on Tic Tacs today, so a little extra mouth noises, and I like them. Okay, so next is Archie, number 3. Now this is, they kind of just rebooted Archie and gave him to some pretty popular artists. So Mark Waid is the writer. Mark Waid, who is the writer of the Daredevil run I showed you guys a couple of days ago. And Fiona Staples is the girl who draws Saga, which is like the biggest cult following these days. It's kind of like this Archie run is they just updated it. Kind of makes it feel a bit more modern. Honestly, to me, it feels like episodes of Saved by the Bell, like teenage stuff. But it's pretty. It's got some funny parts. It's entertaining for sure. It is not a superhero comic, clearly, but Archie has endured over the years. His Betty and Veronica feud is just starting here in this. So in all of these Archies, the new ones, of course there's only 3 now, they put an old classic Archie story in the back. Honestly, I don't bother reading these because they're kind of cheesy and ridiculous. Each Archie one that comes out has like a ton of variants. So the number 1 had like maybe 15 variants. Number 2 had a whole lot too. And number 3 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went with this one because I thought it polyurethane bags are over time give off this acid that could be damaging to books maybe after 10 or 15 years. If you hold them up to light, you'll see there's like a yellow tint over time. And that, I think, is the ink bleeding, although I'm not sure. These claim to be acid-free, but I don't think they are. Mylar bags are the ideal, from what I know. So, I've never really been a fan of Archie books until the Afterlife with Archie series. Then I kind of was into all these side things they were doing, like Archie vs. Predator and Archie vs. Sharknado was one of them. They got kind of ridiculous. Put this one up here. So next I'll do Doctor Strange #2. This one's written by Jason Aaron, who wrote the original Sin story and a bunch of other things. Jason Aaron also wrote Punisher Max, which was pretty good, pretty violent. Again, I love these bags. I think maybe if I didn't collect comics, I'd still buy these bags. See, they did something kind of interesting with the names. See, it says Aaron. Jason Aaron, the writer. So they put the names of the writers and stuff. I see Ditko. Ditko is a famous old artist. So for those of you who don't know, I'll just read Doctor Strange's little intro here. Stephen Strange was a preeminent surgeon until a car accident damaged the nerves in his hands. His ego led him to scour the globe for a miracle cure, but he instead found a mysterious wizard called the Ancient One, who taught him there were things in this world bigger than himself. These lessons led Stephen to become the Sorcerer Supreme, Earth's first defense against all manner of magical threats. His patients call him Doctor Strange. I wasn't always a very big Doctor Strange fan. I found that he was kind of like strangely on the outskirts of Marvel stories, being that he is the only real magician. And I'm not sure where magic really was necessary, but it did play its part in a lot of events and storylines. So anyway, since Marvel rebooted Doctor Strange, gave him his own series, I thought, why not give it a shot? And it ended up being really good, the first issue. I did read this issue, and this one's even better. They're kind of taking you through Doctor Strange's house, the Sanctum Sanctorum, in Greenwich Village in Manhattan. And it's showing you all the weird stuff that's going on. So in this series so far, next. See, for a lot of books, I do double bag just because it saves space. I have so many comics, and again, I live in New York City, so don't have a ton of room. So this one, I'm not going to take it out because we already went through it. This is Captain America White, #1. This is the Scotty Young variant. And my comic store had a copy signed by Tim Sale, the artist, who I've showed you guys now 3 times. But I bought it. They probably had him sign it at Comic Con. So we're going to take a look here at Drax. So this is Drax #1. If you can see who wrote it, kind of, some of you might recognize that name from professional wrestling. CM Punk is a popular wrestler from maybe years ago. I don't know. I don't follow wrestling, but he wrote a story for a Thor annual issue, and I guess they liked what he did, so they gave him the Drax book. They might not have trusted him 100% because if you look here, the writers are CM Punk and Cullen Bunn. Cullen Bunn is a writer. He wrote some Deadpool. I think he wrote Deadpool vs. Carnage. He also wrote the Magneto series, which is pretty good. And he's writing other stuff now. I forgot. He has an independent book called The Empty Man, which is good. Scott Hepburn is the artist. I don't know much about him. So yeah, it looks like CM Punk and Cullen Bunn wrote this together. Maybe they were a little not sure about giving a book to a wrestler, but I read this issue and he's pretty capable. It was like a kind of a fun issue. Normally, I'm not a very big fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy, so what's going on here basically is the Guardians are done fighting some baddies, and then they decide to go off on their own ways and do their own thing. And basically, they're telling Drax like, no, we don't have space for you. We're gonna go to our families and whatnot. So what Drax doesn't know what to do because his only reason for living is to kill Thanos. So what does he do? I guess I'll go kill Thanos. So I guess this book is just Drax getting around, flying around, and Rocket Raccoon gives him this really dumpy spaceship. So I guess he's just going to be flying around getting into dumb trouble because he's kind of a big dumb guy. So towards the end of the issue, here are guys who want to take over his ship, but they realize it's worthless, like it's a big piece of junk. And then he crashes on a planet, and that's about it. So that's Drax. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy the #2. It was pretty entertaining, but doesn't really seem to have much substance. I kind of think it's a bit of a novelty being the writer and the character. It's just like a side character. I'll put these over here. Next we'll look at the Extraordinary X-Men. Now this, if you can see, the cover is a little different style. This is last month Marvel put out hip-hop covers. I think this was a De La Soul cover, if I'm not mistaken, or a play on that one. This is written by Jeff Lemire, who I've told you about. He's one of the big guys these days. looks like anime a bit, but and although I can appreciate that style, it's not the style that I really just love. I know nothing about this book or story. I did not read this story arc before it, and I did not read about what to expect from it. All I know is the writer. And sometimes I'll give a book a try just based off of the writer. For those of you who keep seeing this and don't read comics, this is a little peel-off sticker. You peel it off and it has a code that you could put into an app and then have the comic on a download. I don't know how many people actually do that. I feel like you're either buying books buying or stealing them digitally, or buying the actual issues. So it's Extraordinary X-Men #1. I buy the bags with the extra sticky strip on the back so that you could close and open them as you need to. Okay, next is, let's do Captain America #2. Now last week I did Captain America #1. And I told you guys that it was pretty good, so I want to keep going with this series. Again, like last time I told you, this series is kind of dealing with what's going on now in America with this the two parties just fighting each other. The new Captain America, Sam Wilson, has kind of taken the side to the left, and people have been calling him a socialist. And he's been fighting these guys who are trying to protect the border, taking the law into their own hands. And so this is Steve Rogers. He's the original Captain America. I believe he has a problem with how the Falcon is, or Captain America, who was the Falcon, Sam Wilson, is handling the situation. I don't know, do you guys watch this show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? You'd think I do because of how much I love comics, but I watched the first episode and it was just so bad that I could not go on. I know they've already introduced the Inhumans in it, so it's too bad. The artwork in this book is pretty standard for comics these days. Nothing really to get excited about, I don't think. It's nice though, I guess. So that's Captain America #2. I did not read this issue, so I do not know what's going on yet. Maybe next week I'll give you a quick. Next is Spider-Man #2. Honestly, I don't really buy Spider-Mans that much, but the #1 had a cover by Alex Ross, who does these like painting. This is also him. He does like these painting covers, and they're so good. So I fell for it. Also, the writer Dan Slott, I'm a fan of him. He's writing the Silver Surfer series, which is so good and so weird. I think I'm gonna do it a video on just that Silver Surfer run. That favorite, so he's not what I look for. These are all the new things going on in the Marvel Universe. Let's take a look. So we have Amazing Spider-Man, Invincible Iron Man, Sam Wilson, Captain America, which we just looked at, New Avengers, which I had the first issue I showed you guys last week, and it was not good. Not good, not good, not good. I did not like it, and I will not be buying number 2. Extraordinary X-Men, which I showed you guys. Contest of Champions, which I have the issue. Number 1, I just haven't read it yet. Uncanny Adventures, by, forgot his first name, Duggan. Uncanny Inhumans, which so far is pretty okay. Charles Soule is the writer on that. He's the one that they gave the new Daredevil to, which has not come out yet. Oh, Carnage has his own series now. That's gonna be fun. Astonishing Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, all new, all different Avengers. That's one I'm looking forward to. That's Mark Waid. Karnak, who I read to you last week. And Wolverine now is a woman. They're doing that. A lot of characters are getting a female treatment. Thor is a female now. I have not read that series, but I've heard good things. This Crabhead guy kind of looks like, if you guys do read comics, there's a series called God Hates Astronauts that's just like total chaos and insanity. And there's a crab race. That's what he looks like. They're rebooting Miss Marvel here. I like that cover, that drawing style. The bold colors, bold, solid colors. Anyway, so Spider-Man number 2, written by Dan Slott. I am going to transfer all my books to these Mylar bags so they're like archived. Maybe not all of them. The ones that I want to keep in very good condition. As you can see, I'm not handling this one very well, very nicely. Sometimes I gotta push the air out of it before I close it. Sometimes I just get caught with this cloth. Okay, next is The Vision. Now I'm assuming most of you have seen the Avengers movie recently, number 2, where Vision was introduced. So I think he's going to be a figure in the Marvel Universe for some time now. I really like this cover. I did not read this issue, but it already looks promising. It looks to me like the Vision, who is really just an android robot kind of sentient thing. Probably is trying to be a human. And it looks like he has his own house with his little mailbox. I don't know what's going on in this series either, but this is one I am excited to read. Tom King is the writer. I don't know much about him. I do like the art style, and if that is the direction they're going in, where the Vision has like his own little android family, and they're dealing with that just sounds like a really fun way to go about it. Because the Vision has always been kind of this very serious character. Is they're making a Jessica Jones book. She's got a TV show. Oh, spoiler. Uh-oh. Probably not, because because she's a robot. So I'm going to go ahead and say she doesn't die. So that's the Vision by Tom King. Just a quick look. Now there's nothing really that dictates what books I buy. Again, I do like to buy a lot of number ones. See, there's a bunch of number ones in this video today. So here we go, another one. Guardians of the Galaxy number 1. I figured I'd give it a try, mostly because I was interested that Venom and the Thing are now in the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Star-Lord is a girl. So I don't know how that happened, but is that supposed to be Gamora? I don't know. It says Gamora here. Which is weird because Gamora is supposed to be green. So it looks like it's starting off with Annihilus as the bad guy. He controls like this army of space bugs from the Negative Zone. Is it the Negative Zone? I forgot. Negative Zone might be the DC version. One is the Phantom Zone and one is the Negative Zone. It's like an anti-universe. So you already like this. You have a Thing, a Guardian's outfit. I feel like he might make a good fit, although Drax is kind of not a similar character, but with his attitude and his, like, I guess the comic relief. So, yep, another time. I don't know what's going on yet. I bought this number 1, having not really been a big fan of the Guardians. The movie was fun, but I never really read their books. Now they're all of a sudden, I guess they're coming up as one of the big popular groups. I have a theory on the movies, on the Guardians movies, and that is that setting up the Infinity War story, which is probably going to be very similar to an Infinity Gauntlet story, there needed to be characters that bridged the gap between Earth and the cosmic universe. Now, in the books, Silver Surfer was kind of that character. Silver Surfer was a big part of the Infinity Gauntlet setup. Actually, the story kind of develops in a story arc called The Rebirth of Thanos in Silver Surfer issues. So what I think they did, because they don't have the rights, Marvel Studios or Disney does not have the rights to the Silver Surfer. And I think that they decided, they looked through who they have and just picked the Guardians to be like, alright, these are going to be like the, like the tether between the cosmic and world and Earth. That makes sense because Peter Quill is, he's from Earth, so. And this cover is a Scotty Young cover. I showed you guys I Hate Fairyland last week. It's a book by Scotty Young, and I told you he does all these variants, and here's one. You can see it's like very childish, but I really like his art. People are saying it's getting a little played out now because he's been doing these variants for a long time, but I don't think so. I think they're fun. Okay. Last I have Nova number 1, another number 1. I just bought a lot of the reboots that they're doing. And you can see I got 2 here. This one is the variant cover by Chris Samney that he did. Samney. I showed you those Daredevil issues last video, or 2 videos ago. And he was the main artist on Daredevil, and he's one of my favorites. He draws Superman, I think, the best out of anyone. I'm going to do a variant cover video soon, and I'm going to show you my favorite Superman drawing. So this is the same issue, just a variant cover. You can see I paid $15 just for the variant, so I got ripped off. We'll take a look at the regular one. So Nova now is basically the last Nova son. And from what I know about this series, the kid, what's his name? Sam Alexander. He's a Nova, and his dad is too. And they're kind of on Earth fighting this crime together, or not crime, like, you know, there's a house fire. Nova's dad's Nova helmet is breaking. It's not really working right. Saying my helmet is shorted out. His dad is got an older version of the helmet, I guess. Novas are basically like this space kind of police force almost, from a very advanced planet. In the movie, in the Avengers movie, was it the Avengers or it was one of the movies? I honestly forgot which one. Where they had the Guardians movie. In the end, where they had the big battle and they were saving the planet. That was a planet where the Novas are from. John C. Reilly plays a guy who was part of the army there. So I did read this issue, and it was pretty fun. I did like it, and I'm going to continue buying it. I've kind of always wanted to get into Nova, but it's been hard to, because I just never caught it on a number one, and usually I like to start reading on a number one, so I'm not in the middle of a story. And this one was written by Sean Ryan. Don't know much about him, but I will continue to give this a shot. Here he saved a cat. I guess that's it, guys. I will close this up. Now, just real quick, I don't know if anyone even is still listening, or you're likely asleep or have not watched the entire video, but just in case you aren't, you're listening. I'm trying to get these videos out, trying to get some viewers, subscribers. I'm not looking to really monetize this thing in any way. I just enjoy doing it, and you put a lot of time into it, and it's nice to see some people watching and responding. I only know Reddit as a way to post the videos. So if any of you guys know of any other websites, maybe where you find videos, also because I'm looking for new places to find videos for myself to watch. I usually watch a video every night when I'm relaxing before bed. I bought these, I don't know if any of you guys have heard about it, but these Bose headphones that are these noise canceling headphones that are like no other headphones I've ever used. They're $300, but they really block out so much noise, and they make the whole ASMR thing that much better. So I would suggest getting a pair of those. Maybe ask someone for Christmas. Anyway, so that's it, guys. I will I'll make my next video in the next couple of days. Gonna take a break for a day or two because I've kind of been doing a video a day, and even though they seem like they're no big